Welcome back to the Practical Escapist. My name is Katie and I'll be your host. And I don't know about you, but I am longing for spring. We're at the tail end of winter, it's still cold and flu season, and everybody's miserable. So there's nothing like a nice, fresh, hot bowl of soup to make you feel better. But this isn't your grandma's soup. Actually, if your name's Link, this is your grandma's soup. Today on The Practical Escapist, we're making Elixir Soup from the Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker. So for today's recipe, the ingredients are actually quite simple. We have a can of coconut milk, we have a can of pumpkin puree, and we could actually use an actual pumpkin if we want to, but we're lazy, so we're not going to do that. We have a little bit of parsley here in the bag. We have some garlic. We have a small onion. We have some white beans and some nutritional yeast. And of course, we're going to use some oil and some salt and pepper as well. But that's all we need for today. I recommend starting off by cooking your pre-soaked beans. If you're using canned beans, you can go ahead and skip this step. If you're using dried beans like I am, you'll want to have pre-soaked it the night before for about 8 hours or overnight. We're going to leave those on the stove top for about an hour or so. While our beans are cooking, we're also going to take the next step and we're going to roast our garlic in the oven. Now the reason we're doing this is because oven roasted garlic is absolutely delicious, and although it's a bit time consuming, it's fairly low maintenance. So between this and the beans, we're going to be sitting on standby for a little bit. Here's how we're going to prepare our garlic. First, we're going to peel it. Not all the way, mind you. Once you've gotten all the loose skin off of your garlic, we're going to chop the tip off to expose the cloves. Like so. It looks kind of pretty, doesn't it? Make sure to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Alright, so for our next step, we're going to take our garlic, we're going to put it in the middle of some parchment paper, and we're going to drizzle a little bit of oil on top of it. Then we're going to take that and we're going to make a little pouch out of the parchment paper, and then we're going to seal that pouch in some aluminum foil. We're going to seal it nice and tight. And that's going to create a little steaming packet for our garlic, which we will then put in the oven for about 45 minutes. For the next step, we're going to prep our very small amount of vegetables. So we're going to chop up our onion, and if you're using a whole pumpkin, show off, then go ahead and do whatever you're going to do with your pumpkin. You have more ambition than I have. Good job. We're going with a very small onion. You can also use half a large onion. Our onion is done-yin. Once your garlic is finished, something you can do is you can take it out and you can put it on a pan and roast it a little bit longer to caramelize it slightly. Be very mindful of the steam when you open this up because it's been roasting in there for some time. So instead of roasting it for 45 minutes, you can roast it for 35 and then put it on the baking sheet. And into the oven for 10 minutes. While our beans and our garlic finish up, we're going to start cooking our onions, so we're ready for the next step. So we're going to put our onion in, and we're going to add some oil. When your garlic's done, it should come out looking like this, and smelling absolutely amazing. After about an hour, test your beans. If they're not perfectly soft yet, make sure you cook them just a bit longer, because we want them to be very nice and creamy. Once your beans have achieved peak softness, and once your onions are also nice and soft, you can put the beans right in there. There shouldn't be much liquid left, and if there is, you can put the liquid right in it anyway. They're all going to cook together. Next up, you can add your can of pumpkin or your pureed pumpkin if you are more ambitious than I am. Add a bit of liquid by filling up your can again with some water. Next, add a can of coconut milk. Add that in there and bring to a low simmer. Once you've reached a simmer, you can lower your heat, and you can also begin to season with some nutritional yeast, some salt, and a little bit of ground black pepper. Give it all a good stir, and make sure the seasonings are to your liking. Adjust accordingly. And at this stage, we can now add our oven roasted garlic. Turn the heat back just a little bit, because we don't want it to overcook, and put your garlic in. Allow everything to cook together on a low heat for about 5 minutes. Once all those flavors have been hanging out for a little while, it's time to hit that soup with our immersion blender and get it nice and smooth. Once your soup has reached a beautiful creamy consistency with no chunks in it, it's time to give it one last taste and add any more seasonings that you feel it may be lacking. So now, because we're aiming for accuracy, we're going to serve this in a jar or a bottle. And true to form, we have enough for 2 servings here. And to serve, we're going to sprinkle just a little bit of parsley on top. You can use just about any green herb or vegetable, but I thought this one looked the most accurate. So now, of course, there's just one thing left to do. The soup is warm and comforting. It's filled with vitamins and minerals from the pumpkin, and it's got lots of protein and iron from the beans, and it's got B vitamins from the nutritional yeast, and of course, garlic will cure what ails ya. So until next time, guys, this has been the Practical Escapist, and I can't wait to show you what we have planned next. Taking so much longer than usual. I'm like, I'm gonna do it quickly. Doesn't do it quickly at all. Take your dirty pot off the stove so viewers can't see it. Allow everything to cook together on a low heat. Hi, Mystery. Allow everything to cook together on a low heat for about 5 minutes. That was really hot. Just FYI. Ooh, we're burning up inside. Anyway, that was too hot to take a swig like that. A little spoonful would have been fine. But my esophagus is burning.